All right, we are going to get started here in just a few seconds. Welcome to today's office hours with Mark Stepp. I'm Mark Stepp, Chief Innovation Officer here at Realvolve, and just wanted to go over some of the aspects of merge fields, which are so important with Realvolve. There are so many times when you start looking at software systems and the abilities that they have. And one of the things that is so critical for any CRM, any listing transaction management system, in our case, as a workflow platform that has all three of those, merge fields play a huge part of what we do. And what I want to do is kind of show you some of the building blocks of the merge fields and how to utilize them. So first question is, what is a merge field? A lot of people don't understand or don't realize what a merge field is. So I want to cover some basics, and then we're going to go into some more advanced stuff, and then we can open it up for any kind of questions that you guys may have as well. So first thing is what is a merge field? And if we start thinking about Realvolve, and Realvolve is a workflow platform that has three main databases in it. It has the contact management, the listing management, and the transaction management. All three pieces are built in together. There's also the calendaring piece, which is almost a database, but it's not a main database. It's actually what the workflows use. But contacts, properties, and transactions, or contacts, listings, and closings, and however you want to think about it. If you have contacts, leads that come in, and you need any kind of nurturing and stuff, you're going to be sending out emails, text messages, things like that. Typically, you want to personalize it. And the merge field is what is used to personalize. So if we go into a particular contact, let me just go into somebody's name here. Say, actually, Jane Agent. Actually, no, that's not a good one. Let's go Bonnie Allen. Let's go to Bonnie Allen. Okay. Have no idea where these names came from. This is my trainer database, so we've got a lot of different things in here. But whenever you have contacts in the database, each contact field is there for holding data: the email address, the home address, the different. Let me just see if I can find somebody that's got some more information in there. Probably shouldn't have used this database, but I did anyway. You have individual fields: title, company, phone numbers, mobile phone, all these different fields in the database. And somehow you need to take that information, that data that's in the database, and put it into your document, your template that you're sending out, whether it's an email, whether it's an SMS message, whatever. And that's what a merge field does. It takes the data that is contained in the database, and it's pointing to, if you're doing a workflow, you start a workflow on a particular person. That person is the directive, the person that you're dealing with. If it's a listing or a transaction, that listing or transaction is the directive. It's the focus of that workflow. And because we know the focus of that workflow, we know where that data should come from, we can draw those fields and put them into the templates. So if we go over to our templates area, and let's say we wanted to create a new template. Let me just create a new template here. I'm going to author a new template, and we're going to say new lead nurture, whatever. And this could be I'm going to say the first lead nurture template that I'm going to be sending out as an email or whatever. I have to pick on the use with here. I have to pick which database am I using as the directive, as the main data for this. Is it the contact? Is it the property? Or is it the transaction? Once we know that, then any of the merge fields that we put down here will be based off of that particular piece. And we went through templates on the last class, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper and just kind of show you, how all this is put together. So if we say use with contact, then we can start filling in what is the content that we're wanting to send. What are the emails, the SMS, the Twitter messages? Are we wanting to, print some PDFs or whatever? So up here at the top, we've got the subject line. And if you want to put something in the subject line that comes from the main database, you have to use a merge field. So I might say something like, hello, and then I want to insert John. Hello, John, or hello, Mary. If you want to send the message to a couple, like if they're married, husband and wife, you would use greeting, but otherwise you might use their first name. So I'm going to put in here 2 square brackets, bracket. And whenever I do that, that brings up the list of all the merge fields that are built into Realvolve that pertain to the contact database. Since I used the use with as contact. If I have chosen properties or transactions, then whenever I do bracket, it's just the properties merge fields or the transaction merge fields. In this case, it is the contact merge fields. So I might go in there and say, hello, John, or hello, Mary, or whatever. I want to put in their first name. So I can come in here and type in first. You'll see that it starts finding any merge field that contains the word first in it, and it highlights it in blue. So we have current user first name field, primary user first name field. We've got lots of different ones. The one that I want you to see here is the contact, contact first name. So you might have to scroll through the list to find what you actually want. Now I could go in there and continue to type in more first name and it narrow it down even more. So I can come down here, first name. That way it just gives me just the items that have first name in there. So you can pick whatever merge field from this list. Once you have it, just pick it, and then it fills in the complete merge field for you. And typically whenever it does that, you don't want to go in there and monkey around with it or change it in any way. Just leave it as it is. You may want to do some additional stuff after this. In this case, you might say, hello, John. Just thought you should see this, whatever. And then I'm tab out of that. So what that does is that's going to, in the subject line of the email, it's going to put John or Mary or whoever the first name of the subject of this, the person that is the person receiving this email will contain their first name. Now down in the body of the field of the message, we can do the same thing. So we might want to say, now, since we put it up here at the top, you may not want to put it down at the bottom. If you don't put it at the top, you definitely would probably want to say something like, hello, and then just do the same thing. First name, contact first name, and then maybe put a comma there, semicolon, whatever the piece that you want, and then start typing in, whatever it is that you want to put in. If there's some more information that you want to collect from the database and put in here, you might put in there like, actually, let's go back here and say, hello, John. My name is in bracket, and first name. And we say current user first name or primary user first name. The current user is who's logged in, who's sending this message as the user, and in which case it should be your name. Now I'm logged in as probably Joe Agent. So if I go and do this, it's going to fill in, hey, my name is Joe Agent, and then put in more stuff. So you can put in any field in the main database, plus there are also fields in our settings area. I'm going to open this up as a new tab. And all of these fields are in there as well, as current user first name, current user last name, current user email. All these fields are available. So you can create a customized template. If you're in a team, you may want to use something like this so that each team member can use the same message, but contain different data about them. So it's important to do that. So this just allows us to identify the field that it's coming from using the square brackets on each end, typing in a quick search term and selecting it. Real simple. The key here on this particular item, as far as wanting to train you on, is understanding that each individual database, the main databases, have their own set of merge fields, and the list of merge fields will be different based off of which one you choose. So the other thing that you can do, just so that you know that it's there, we can put merge fields in 3 different places. I've shown you 2 of them: the subject line and the body of the message. And if it's a SMS message instead of an email, you won't get the subject. You'll just get the body of the email area. But you can also put a merge field in the title for certain fields. It's a very limited number of fields. And this is allowing you to say, maybe this, instead of new lead nurture, maybe this is something like happy birthday, bracket. Oh, sorry. In the template, you can't do it in the title. In the subject, in the body, in the title, we do have another place in the workflows where you can put that, but the title is the title. You don't have merge fields in there. Sorry. Strike that. Went a little bit brain dead on that one. But see, let's go back to this. New lead nurture. So in a template, you only have the subject, the body, and that's fine. The one thing that you do have as a merge field as well, though, is if you have attachments that you want to send. Say, for instance, you've got John Smith, and there are files that are in John Smith's contact record, and you want to be able to send an email message to John Smith and include attachments. If you're using this enhanced editor, where there are 3 bars of tools you see on here, this is our enhanced editor for our email piece. There is an older version that just has 1 line. You can't do it in there, but in the new one, you can upload a attachment. And in here, you can use a merge field as a tag, basically. And it's basically the same thing as a merge field, but what it does is you're using a tag of a file to select that file so that it can be included, or set of files. It could be a set of files. So maybe you wanted to send an attachment for closing documents that are part of something, or if you have an appraisal of some sort that needs to be sent, you can use this. Is basically a merge field. It is a tag, but what it does is it allows you to merge a file into the message, and not just the database field, but an entire file. So just understand that that is one of the possibilities if you're using the enhanced email editor. So very cool there. So got that. The other place that we can use, and I'm going to open this up in a new tab here as well, is in the workflow system. And started to share that. Let me go over here to a merge field, a workflow, and create a new workflow. And let's say we're going to make a workflow for a new listing. And I'm just going to preface this with office hours. I know I've got other new listings in here, so I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to create a new listing. So I'm going to use the property database. Just like in a template where you're using merge fields, you have to have, whenever you're creating a workflow, you have to know which database it's coming from, whether it's a contact, property, or transaction. In this case, I'm going to create a property one just to show a sample of this. All the rest of these I'm going to leave. Don't really care about those. But I want to create an activity. And in an activity, you've got a couple places where you can use merge fields. And this is where I was heading for the title. So I might create an activity that says, something about a let's see, new listing. Maybe we want to do a new listing for, and then I put in bracket and the address. So this is a merge field. The only merge field that's available in this is the actual property address for the property, but you're able to put in a merge field in the title. But the other place that you can use merge fields is in checklists. Now, typically a checklist might be like, get all signed documents, whatever. So it's just static text. And whenever this activity comes up, you go, you see the words, get all signed documents, and you check it off. One of the real powerful pieces of Realvolve is that you can use merge fields in your checklists. And so what does that do for us? Well, say for instance, I wanted to verify this is for the new listing on such and such property. I want to verify that I got the price. So I'm going to put in bracket, just like in the templates area. I'm going to put in bracket listing price. And then I'm going to press enter on that. So what that does then is that puts this merge field into a checklist so that whenever the checklist is displayed, it's going to show us the value that's currently in the property database for the listing price. Now I might go in there and say listing date, make sure that it has a listing date in there as well. So you can create as many different checklist items with additional merge fields in them to be able to utilize for things. So what happens, and I'm just going to add this, let's see, 0 days after start date. I'm not going to do anything other than that just to kind of show you how this works. New listing, copy that. Let me go over here to the dashboard. And we're going to go to a property. Let me go to some property here. Okay, just some listing that I have. You'll notice that there's no listing date, but I do have a listing price. So to show you how this works, this will be a great example. I'm going to choose that it only had one activity in it, so it is barely usable, but it'll show you the purpose of the merge fields and what we're doing. So when do I want to start this? I'm just going to start this today, so it shows up today. And it goes out and it creates the workflow. Depending on how the system is set up, how quickly, but it'll come up fairly quickly. So here's the one activity that we created. You'll see new listing for, and we used a merge field for the address. So now this activity has the address in the title, which is great because you may come up here to the calendar, and if you just said new listing or check for listing information and you don't have the address in there, it can be harder to find or understand what it's about. So putting that in the title is very powerful. But as we come over here and we go to complete this activity, because we use the merge field, so here's a static checklist item, the words that we typed in, get all signed documents. If I check that, great. Here's one that is a merge field. We put in bracket, listing price, and it's showing us what's in the listing price, the value that's in that listing price. Is it correct? Well, if you've got maybe a new assistant and they don't necessarily know where all the fields of the database are, but you create your system, your processes in place with all these workflows that use merge fields, all they have to do is go to complete their activities each day. And if there's something that needs to be verified or filled in or whatever, using those merge fields in checklists is very powerful, because now all they have to do is say, hey, is this right? They look at their listing form, their uptake form, and boom, oh yeah, that's right. We put in the right information. If it's wrong, put in the corrected information. And what it'll do is it will update that field in the database for you. So you don't have to know where all the fields are at. You just follow the checklist. So we're going to click on, yep, the list price is right. Did we have a list date? Well, we didn't have a list date, but I can put it in. So if I come over here, let's say we listed it. Let's just say we listed it yesterday. So now I put in the list date. Is it valid? Yes, it is. So now with a checklist, if all the fields, all the checklist items are checked off, or if anything is marked as incomplete, like circle slash basically means, yeah, I do or do not have it. It doesn't really matter. Listing date would not be one of those typically. But if you have a circle slash, then it will consider this activity complete. But if there's an item that isn't checked or doesn't have that not needed, then it will make that activity not complete. You have to have everything checked off or marked as not needed before the activity is completed. So whenever I save and close, now whenever I go in and check on this, you refresh the screen. It doesn't update it while it's there, but it went ahead and put in that date for me. So I didn't have to put it into this field. I didn't have to come in here and do any of the other stuff. If you create checklists with merge fields, that allows you to fill in all these different fields that are available very easily. You can do the same thing for people. You can select which people need to be filled in, just making sure that there is a person filled in. For instance, for photography, do you have a photographer? Before you go and send an email to the photographer, is the photographer actually selected in the list, or a stager or whatever? Make sure that those, use the merge field in the checklist to identify, do I have this field filled in? And if I do, that will make sure that the email gets to its appropriate place. So very, very user-friendly, and it validates the information. So you can use it for data entry. You can use it for verification on any of those. So that's the important part there. Come back over to, actually, I wanted this on workflows. Let me come back over here to workflows. And new listening. And office hours sample. So going back, I know, just want to make sure everybody understands what we just did. Oh, office hours sample. Hit the wrong one. There we go. So the first thing that we did was we created a merge field for our new listing in the title and put the address in there. There's just a limited number of fields that can go in the titles, and it's depending on which database you do select, whether it's a contact, property, or transaction. But definitely, because this is property, we can put in the property street address. And then the other fields that we put in was the property listing price and listing date. And by having those popped up, listed very, very easily. So those are some really, really crucial types of things to use merge fields for. Merge fields can be used to create messages that sound very personal. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that that take us one step further. Let me go back over to the templates. Let me come over here back to templates. And I'm going to new listing. Grab one of these. Okay, so here's a case where I've got greeting. So this would be like if I'm using, instead of first name, last name, I'm using the word greeting as a merge field. This puts it in so that if you've got a husband, wife, they're married, or maybe there's a couple of some sort, and you want to use their both of their first names, John and Mary, whatever. It will put both names in there. If you just put the words first name in there with contact first name, or the different options for buyer first name, seller first name, those types of fields will only use the single name. But if you have the greeting keyword in there, then it will use both. But as you go through and you start typing in these, you can create sentences. And I guess I really need to probably go to one that's me go to a So lender. I want that new buyer lead to lender. Okay, so here I want to, this particular merge field or template is using merge fields identified for creating it as more of a personal type of message, where you would say, who am I sending this to? Contact first name, hey John. And this particular template is started, you actually start the workflow on maybe a new lead or a new buyer, new seller, somebody that's needing the lending side, so it'd be more of a buyer. But the message itself, instead of going to the buyer, you're actually wanting to send it to a lender. So it's started, the workflow itself is started on a buyer, but you're sending the message to a one of the lenders that you work with. So in this case, who am I sending it to? I'm sending it to my contact first name. So this would be the lender's first name. I was visiting with, and I've got a special keyword here called workflow contact, meaning who did I start the workflow on? It's the workflow contact versus just contact, which is who am I sending this to? The workflow contact was started on John and Mary Smith, they're buyers. So it would say, hey, I was visiting with John and Mary. And then we have a pronoun in here. So if it's just a single person, say it's just John, and it would say, hey, I was visiting with John, and he will need help finding a loan. So we can use pronouns. This is more of an advanced option, but what it does is it adds a lot of personality to what you're doing. And if it's a female, hey, I was visiting with Mary, she will need, or if it's John and Mary, it'll use the word they. So anytime that you're sending a message, and if you're not using the pronoun option, it's less personal. You can get away with doing it, but it's less personalized. And it almost feels like you actually typed it out that way. And if it's not specified, if you've not specified whether it's a male or female, it will use the they option as the default. So just let you know that. So I know there's a lot of controversy, or a lot of, I shouldn't say controversy, that's not the right word. People that want to be gender neutral. If you just don't specify, it'll use the they option. But in this case, so there's the personal pronoun. There's also the objective pronoun, which I can set up an appointment with him, her, or them to get qualified and get back to me as soon as you can, whatever. And his, their, there. So you can use possessive, objective, or personal pronouns to help create a very personalized message and make it sound more like somebody actually typed it personally. And that can be very powerful whenever you're sending stuff to people and not being very cold, making sure it's not just a cold message that goes out. So that's there. The other thing that we do have merge fields for, I want to make sure you know this. So you can do bracket, and just put in date. Right, system is running really slow here. So we do have like activity date. So if you're sending somebody information about the activity that is actually sending this, you can create the activity date, which is a merge field, or the current date. So if I just want to choose current date, so I can put that in there as a current date, let them know when this was sent. Those are in there. We also have an option for day of the week. So current day, day of the week. So if you're sending this out, so it might say, just want to make sure this got to you by today, Thursday. That is the day of the week. That is one of the merge fields that's available as well. So you can use all kinds of different types of merge fields for personalizing any of the messages. Now, we talked about this last time. I want to make sure for anybody that's new, make sure they know this as well. We do have a merge field for signature. So signature is a special merge field that allows you to merge in the sender, your message, or the person that's sending the message, if it's an assistant or whatever, their email signature. So if you are sending a message from an email or text message, you can use bracket signature. One of the things that you want to do is make sure that your signature is up to date. I type in signature in the search. Now I've got several different ones. There are two special signatures that you have to use or need in your list. And if they're not there, it can actually cause you some problems. Each user of the account, so if you've got a team of users, even though it's called signature, each user has their own signature and their own signature enhanced. So signature is typically used for SMS, and signature enhanced is more for the emails. So with emails, you can create images, you can put fonts, largers, links, all that kind of stuff, create it however you want. And in that signature, then whatever's typed in here, whenever you are sending a message that uses the bracket signature, it's going to draw from this merge field, this template, the information from it and put into your message. So if I go back to that lender one, new buyer lead to lender, if I use this merge field, then it's going to draw from that signature. Now, it does not matter whether it's named, actually it does. Your merge field is always going to be signature. What it does is it looks to see where this template is coming from. Is it coming from a SMS message or is it coming from an email? And if it's coming from an email, it'll use signature enhanced. If you're doing this from a SMS message, it'll just use the signature template. So it knows the difference on which one it needs to use. So you are good there. If there's any questions there, let me know. Let me see here. A second. All right. So the next thing, not only do we have signatures, but we also have the ability to create a header. Up here and type in header. Where are you at? I think because I'm sharing my screen, my internet, I think, is not doing well. What's going on? There we go. So header. So I can select the header item. And what it does, very similar to signature, is that there are templates just like signature for header and header enhanced. Header would be for your SMS, and header enhanced is for emails, for enhanced template capabilities. So you can have a header. Maybe you want to put like a header, your company logo at the top of all your emails. All you need to do is go into your email or your header enhanced, build it out how you want, and then anytime that it uses this merge field, it'll grab the contents of the header enhanced, slap it there at the top of your email. It'll put in the information in your signature from the signature enhanced, put it in there. And likewise, if we come down here at the very bottom, if you wanted to have another one, which is footer, is the very same thing. It's same as header, but maybe you have some extra phone numbers or links or whatever that you don't normally include in your signature. You can do that, or graphics at the bottom. Maybe you want to have a fancy header graphic and a fancy footer graphic. You can put those and send those out. Maybe some wavy lines or colors or whatever you want. You can put in there. And as those get sent out in emails, then they'll show up. Obviously, for SMS, it would just be words because you can't send the images on those. But very powerful merge fields that are available there. Let's see. I did kind of cover this. Let me create a new one here. Create a new user. Let's see, user merge fields. So wanted to show you some of these, like I was showing you earlier from in here. We do have the individual user names. So if you have a template that uses current user, that's basically you as the logged in user. Now, if you are part of a team and the team person is the account owner of Realvolve, you can also use primary user. So there's primary user, company, primary user, first name, last name. So maybe, if you're the John Smith team and you're Mary Doe, you might want to have the John Smith team in there and be able to just use that as a merge field. By using the primary, it can bring that information in there. Now, we do have a field called team name, so you can use that as well. If you come over here and look right here, we've got team name, whatever my team name is, what I've got in there is very, very generic. What service area, what area do you service? We do have team members that, where it's a much bigger team, but certain people work certain areas. So you can have your own service area for that team. So you've got lots of capabilities for merge fields, but this is what adds a lot of power to customize your templates, be able to make them personalized, and making sure that they sound professional, but also personal. And the really nice thing is, so you spend all this time creating all your templates, all your messages and stuff, and lo and behold, there's some kind of company buyout, or you decide to move to a different brokerage, and all of a sudden now all of your documents have different content that needs to be in there. If you've manually typed in team names and company names and phone numbers and all that, now you have to go back through all your templates and you have to change all those. If you're using your merge fields for those, you don't have to retype all those. All you have to do is go into your main account information and change your information here. Now, every message that goes out is now with the new content. That's one of the powerful pieces of a merge field. So hope that's hope you get that. So some of the other merge fields. Now we have one other merge field that is really, really important, and I know we've created some other trainings on it, and it is what I call the showing reports. Let's do a search for showing report. I think here. Oh, actually, it's take it off contact here. Showing report. So she's seller report. I should have said seller. So whenever we get a new listing, and let me go to a listing here. Let me go to dashboard and go to a listing. We have a section here called seller report. And in this seller report area, you can create any number of messages to your seller about what's happened during the marketing process. And you can put in maybe there was an agent tour and Sam, really liked the layout, whatever. And maybe this was for Sam Smith. You can put in some additional feedback. So this is the message that would go to the seller. This is some additional feedback that you might include as well. So you could type in, whatever it is there, and then maybe some feedback for yourself as an agent note that wouldn't necessarily be sent to the seller, but is there. Maybe you've got a rating or whatever. So you can create this, and there's a place here for date sent. So when did I send this message to my seller? And I might go in there and I might create multiples of these. And there's a whole training on putting this together. But what we've got is you can create a bunch of these activities that go into the seller report that you've either completed some activities, things that you've done, whatever, and each one of them get put into this. And maybe once a week, you send a message to your seller and show them everything that you did for that week. So each one of these, they don't yet have any content in the date sent. There's no date in there yet because you've not sent it to them. But you might have 5 or 10 of these things that need to be sent but haven't been sent yet. So within the merge fields, you can use a special merge field here called property seller report, non-sent only. I know it's long, but it's there for a purpose. And you can create this template so that it sends out to the seller of a property. So we started this workflow And on every Friday, it's sending the message to the seller, and it's sending that information about what got done. Well, whenever this template gets brought up, and you can make it a lot more fancier than this, but what it does is it will bring up a list. It'll bring up a bulleted list of all the different activities that were in this list that have not been sent yet, because we used the word non-sent only. And it'll merge it in there as a bulleted point item list so that it goes out. So you're not having to spend any time identifying, what needs to be sent out. You can be completing activities, and it automatically generates these activities. You can make it so that you can type in some little messages and it'll put in here, or you can manually enter them, put in here. But you got 5, 6, 10 different messages on Friday. All of a sudden, it sends out this template. Hey, here's a list of the services that we performed this week. And boom, 10 items show up on this list. That's a very powerful way of letting your seller know what you've done for them this week. In today's market, it may not be as important in some markets that, so definitely some of the markets we had in the past where nothing was selling. We had lots of inventory. Sometimes, listings would go on for several weeks or months, and the seller wants to know what you've been doing for them. And this is a way to keep them updated. In today's market, with everything selling almost immediately because of low inventory, maybe this isn't quite as important now, but there'll be a time when it is. And it's important to have your systems set up to be able to handle those. So definitely make sure that you make that available. Okay. You can also do that for showing report. There's other merge fields here. So I'm going to do a seller report, and I just want to make sure that you know that these are there. I've got seller report, which will send everything that's in that list. So if I choose seller report, it would just, if there's 20 items in that list, some are sent, some are not sent, it'll put them all in the list. There's the non-sent only, which was the ones that weren't sent. And then there's the ones that, if maybe you wanted to recap the ones that you did already send them, there is a sent only option. So you've got 3 different options for the seller report. Likewise, we also have a buyer report for the transactional side whenever you're dealing with buyers. And then we also have, if you're, there is one for showing reports. If you're dealing with clients, you can do the same type of thing. So be aware that those are there. If you want more training on those, look into our YouTube channel. We've got lots of training. And I think we may have in our training.realvolve.com, we may also have the seller report training session in there as well. But some great stuff in there to make everything personalized. There are a few more less used things, and we're just about running out of time. Just wanting to check to see if there are any messages, any questions that you guys have. Not seeing any. All right. Well, if you have any additional questions, be sure to reach out to our team, either email support@realvolve.com, or down at the bottom, you can click on submit a support ticket, and we'll be able to help you out. Also, there is the help link down here at the bottom. If you click on the link in the black bar menu here, it will take you to our help website. And in the help website, there's all kinds of how-tos and frequently asked questions. There is a section in here for getting started. Make sure that you go through the getting started if you're fairly new. In this section, we do have a full list of all the merge fields in the database. And I think it's actually been updated since then. I need to check that list because we may need to put a few more in there. We're constantly adding more fields to the database, more merge field capable. So definitely take a look at that. Workflow tutorial PDFs out there, and a lot of other really good stuff. A lot of PDFs that you can click on for learning the basics. So really good stuff there. You can also go out to training.realvolve.com. And here we've got a lot of training courses that are really great for users to go through. They're all free. Make sure that you visit those and learn a lot of stuff. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, like I said, reach out to support. We'll be happy to help you out. So if not, everybody have a great new year and look forward to serving you in the future. Thanks. Bye.